This is Core Conversations with Natalie Baggio.
Welcome to Core Conversations. I'm Natalie Baggio. In our first episode, you had an opportunity to listen to our leaders who make decisions every day that impacts care and well-being here in Southwest Michigan. But today is a special episode, and I have a very special and beloved guest, Pat Moody, with me today. And he has agreed to share his story and experience with our services here in Southwest Michigan. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Delighted to be here.
Yes.
Delighted to be here at all.
It's a pleasure to have you. And when I first met you and you shared your story with me about the care and the unexpected care that you needed.
Exactly.
And how the teams came together and made a big difference in your life, it really helped me feel like the work that we do every day, how it brings life to supporting that mission. And I'm just excited for you to be willing to share this with our community.
Sure. I have nothing but great reverence for the team because they saved my life. You know, it was amazing. I mean, I'm sitting at home one night and Mrs. Moody was sitting on the couch watching television. Behind those closed eyelids.
Yeah. We all know what that's like.
Yeah, exactly. So I decided I'm just going to go to bed and read, So I went to bed and I'm a voracious reader. And so I went to bed and I started reading and I had chills and I couldn't shake this chilling, I mean, literally tremors, just kind of shaking. And it was very disconcerting. And I'm like, well, I can't concentrate on what I'm trying to read. So I thought, well, I'll just curl into a ball and see if I can shake it, and turned out the lights and rolled over and it didn't work. Not only did I not shake the chills, all of a sudden I just had a really harsh and a strong cough, just a really hard cough. And then literally like a 2-beat pause where you breathe normally for a second, and then another harsh cough. And then a 2-beat pause, and then another one. And it was it was getting to the point where I was losing my breath. I was like, I can't even catch a breath now because it's coming so rapidly, and it's starting to hurt. I was like, there's something wrong.
Right, you knew it wasn't normal.
It was not even. I'd never felt anything like it before, and I'm like, what is going on? I just didn't understand it, and so I, climbed out of bed and stumbled down the hall to tell Carol, I don't know what's going on, but I think we better call an ambulance because this is not right, and I had to wake her up because she had in fact fallen asleep on the couch. And so, she's just kind of, and so she quick called and pretty soon Medic 1 came and they brought in the gurney and they loaded me up there in the living room and then took me out to the parking lot at our condo. And they did, I don't know what they were doing, because I'm still coughing and just hacking like a madman. And we were in the parking lot for probably, it seemed to me like an hour, but it was probably more like 10 minutes or something like that. And they got a lot of telemetry and everything and doing all their checks and everything and prepping for the roll to the hospital. And fortunately, another great thing is I live less than a mile and a half or 2 miles from the hospital, which was very rewarding as well. But they took me to the emergency room. Now, from the emergency room, the arrival there, I really don't remember a whole lot other than a whole team of people streaming around and checking everything and doing asking me 8 million questions from whatever I could answer. And I remember Dr. Kuhnlein came in, cardiologist, and he apparently, he told me later, he said, I did a heart cath where they come in through the groin with the cameras or whatever. And he said, I figured we'd run that quick test, probably find, blockage here or there or whatever, drop a couple of stents in you over the next day or two and send you home. That wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
That isn't going to work. You've got, you're a candidate for bypass. multiple bypass.
Right. Cardiac bypass.
Cardiac bypass. Yep. He said, he said, there's at least 2 lines that are more than 90% blocked. And I don't know what else. And it's just like, whoa, now, I'm just like, are you kidding me? And I didn't know what to think. But
Scary time.
Yeah. But the whole team there was so encouraging and so thoughtful, And, I know a lot of people say, of course they were nice and thoughtful and careful with you. You're Pat Moody. I know. I go, no, I said, I don't know. I don't think anybody in that emergency room, except for Dr. Kuhnlein, knew who I was. And the name didn't even necessarily register with them. It's just, somebody that's, in serious pain here. And we've got to get this thing solved and figure out what's going on. So anyway... we were off on the big adventure. So,
and
now
then Dr. Kuhnlein probably introduced you to a cardiothoracic surgeon.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Dr. Dixon, who was here at that time, he has left the system now.
Yes.
But what an amazing man he was. I mean, I will say, he of any of them probably had the bedside manner that was more like a drill sergeant. But he was doing what needed to be done, and
very serious.
Very serious. Yeah. But even I even got him to melt along the way, because I kept telling him, I said, you have saved my life. And he goes, I just did what I had to do. And I said, no, well, that may be, but you saved my life, by this. But it's interesting because Dr. Kuhnlein thought, just a couple of stents and we'll get you on your way. And Dr. Dixon's like, no, it's going to take more than that. And Mrs. Moody said, you're saying multiple bypass. How many? And he goes, and he got a little agitated. He goes, I don't know for sure until we get in there.
That's right.
And he said it doesn't matter how many. It's when we get in there, whatever is wrong, we're going to fix it and get him well.
Yeah.
And so it turned out to be quintuple bypass.
Wow.
So 5 times. Yeah. So that was pretty scary, and now I'm a member of the Zipper Club, I got the where they cracked me wide open and everything. But, the funny thing is, that was January 23rd of 2023 was when I went into the emergency room. And so he told me later, he said, I would have done the surgery that Thursday. That was, I think the 23rd was a Monday or a Tuesday. He said, I was ready to do the surgery, the bypass, that Thursday. There's only one problem. The week before my heart attack, we had been traveling with a friend of Carol's who wants to run a marathon or half marathon in every state in the union. Yeah. And she was doing the Louisiana one down in Baton Rouge. So we had been down there, and I had a small cut on my foot, on my left foot, and somehow or other in the hotel room, I ended up, stepping in somebody else's blood or whatever. And the blood panel from the emergency room that first night came up, and they said, you, sir, have MRSA. So now I felt really bad because everybody in the room that was coming in, and of course your whole team at that point was still wearing masks, every day. And so they were all masked, but now everybody that came in had to put on gloves and had to put on protective gear. Yes. And it's like, oh my God, I'm running these people through all this stuff. And the infectious disease people were asking me 8 million questions. Where have you been? Where did you get this? How did this happen? I don't know. I didn't even know what MRSA was, let alone that it was as critical and deadly as it is. So
you had an extended stay before the surgery.
Yep. So essentially at that point, I was in for, I think, 10 days to resolve that.
Treat the infection.
To treat the infection and get that resolved. And then they said, now we can go ahead and schedule for a later date the actual surgery, the heart surgery. And so now fast forward to February 15th was when they were going to do the surgery, which was my son's birthday. It's the day after Valentine's Day. And I thought, okay. go in and get a new heart for Valentine's Day, right?
Well, thank you for sharing this part of your story. I'm looking forward to us continuing this conversation so the community can hear how this all turned out.
Okay.
And more to come on our next Core Conversations with Natalie.
The guest featured in this episode of Core Conversations with Natalie Baggio is both a Corewell Health patient and an employee of Midwest Family Marketing and Media, the company producing this podcast. Corewell Health also advertises on Midwest Family Marketing and Media radio stations, including the guest's show, Moody on the Market. Pat Moody, the guest, did not receive any direct payment for his story and appearance on the podcast.